after you die and you leave your estate to your heirs, everyone will be grateful and happy with their inheritance, right? Right? What's that? You think your daughter-in-law may think she or her husband's not getting enough? Or maybe you don't trust your nephew or your sister. Is there any way to protect your estate from a lawsuit after your death? Here with 3 top tips to bulletproof your estate is my law partner, Mike Solomon.
Hi, Lori.
Welcome, welcome. So you've made a list of the top 3 strategies to protect against a disgruntled family member actually filing suit.
Right.
First one is get a competency letter.
Right. One of the most common ways to dispute a will is to say the person making the will was incompetent. So you might consider having a letter from a doctor stating that you are competent. It's especially important if someone is starting the early stages of dementia or maybe they're getting forgetful. Get a letter like that, make sure it's dated around the time of the will, and that should help.
Okay. Second on your list, make a videotape.
That's the other thing. Many times people argue that the person is under duress when they've made the will. A videotape, if you videotape it, you'll show the person knows what they're doing, they're not under duress, and hopefully that'll help support the will.
And they probably should make some statement as to what they're doing and why they're doing it.
That's right.
How about the third one, an in terrorem clause to your will? That sounds kind of scary.
Yeah, it's a terror clause. Basically what you're saying is that if you have a clause in the will that says if you protest the will, if you argue that it's not valid, that you lose your inheritance. So, for example, if you're trying to write your daughter out of the will and you say $10,000 to my daughter, but if she protests the will, she loses the entire inheritance. So it kind of makes it very risky, a lot to challenge the will.
Okay. How about the difference between a will and a trust? Does it matter?
Well, for the purposes of disputing the validity, basically it's the same standard. So whether it's a will or a trust, you have that same standard. However, a will is public. It has to be filed with the probate court eventually when you pass away. And a trust is a private document. It doesn't have to be filed anywhere. So it's harder for the beneficiary that you're writing out to figure out what's going on. So that also.
So they may not even see the terms of the will, but in terms of the trust, with the will, it's right out there for the world to see.
That's exactly right.
Okay, sounds like good 3 tips for people who are a little worried, and it seems to me that's a lot of people these days.
That's right. That's right.
So, if your family doesn't get along perfectly now, they certainly won't get along at your death either. And sometimes that leads to costly and time-consuming lawsuits. Follow Mike's tips to protect your estate and your family.
Call Budish, Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.budishandsolomon.com.
Thanks for joining us. Next week, are you living with pain? We'll prescribe methods to manage it. We'll look at the novel ways the library is writing its own new chapter. Then we'll meet a woman with plenty of reasons to smile. Plus, we'll help you operate your way to a successful surgery. So until next week, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
Would you like to join our kitchen conversation? All you have to do is call toll-free 1-877-765-1543 and leave us your question, name, and phone number. Or log on to www.golden.tv for all the latest information and show updates.